Hello and welcome back to Spiritual Soul Center. It is so beautiful to be tuning back in. Now, I may be interrupted, so there may be a couple of pauses that I have to do, as obviously I am a mum now. So, little baby's sleeping at the moment. But like I said, if I do have to pause and break off and come back on, then that's what I will do. So, it's been a little while since I've done a solo video because obviously I've been adjusting to being a new mum, adjusting to all the different energetic processes that you go through being a new mum, and also adjusting to the hormones, the physical challenges, and all the ups and downs that come with that, as well as going through the ascension as well. And as always, it's kind of this sort of role that we have in this ascension. We never stop working. We're always observing, reflecting, healing and working through different layers and challenging ourselves and working on ourselves, even though it can be exhausting. And even though there will be times where you have to have breaks from doing that so intensively, it is something that we do seem to kind of have to do, is to work through these layers continuously. So, that's something that I have been experiencing over the past 8 weeks, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. And I've heard a lot of different themes that have come up throughout this healing journey over the past couple of weeks. And I do have a TikTok, which I make kind of smaller videos on daily, usually. So if you want to check that out, I will leave the links below in this video. So do have a little look at that because that's one that I do keep more in touch of on a daily basis. I do post some of the videos on here as well, but sometimes I don't. So maybe follow that as well. Excuse me. So one of the another themes that I've heard or been picking up on throughout these past couple of weeks is the amount of people that are now doing their levels of healing. So for lack of better words, I'm going to use the term normie, even though it's not really the best term to use. Someone that's not previously been in spiritual practices, not been doing the shadow work, not been doing that kind of deep level of reflection that a lot of light workers have been doing over the past 5 to 10 years and longer. Yeah, a lot of them people now are experiencing a sense of opening up to the worlds of healing. I do apologize if there's any little noises. I do have the dogs in here with me. Yeah, so it's opening up to a new world of healing and kind of a new reflection of, they're opening up to Reiki, they're opening up to the moon, they're opening up to, or like, the full moon energy and recognizing that and how that has an effect on them. They're opening up to somatic release. They're doing working with essential oils, detoxing their bodies. They are tapping into working with their guides and meditation. So there is a whole variety of people that I have experienced that are now accessing their power and understanding the world on and their version of spirituality. So I thought it was relevant to mention that as light workers, it is our job at this time. Well, I feel it is one of my roles here to hold space for people that are going through that transition and to try and make that place and role and journey a bit easier for them, because we didn't have that when we was going through our ascension. And if we can provide someone with that option to hold space for them to make this journey a little bit easier, to make this journey a little bit softer, that's going to be the most overall kind of beneficial thing we can do to help this ascension speed up on a faster level and to help us get to a faster timeline on an appropriate level that we're looking for. So in turn, helping those guys helps us all as a collective ascend at a faster rate. Because I do believe that we do have an ascension journey that is completely individual. It's all about you, so you have to focus within. But then I do think as a collective, we are now holding space as a collective to expand your consciousness on a level that we've never had access to before, and do layers of healing work again that we've never had access to before, because now the collective is holding space for higher vibrations and for higher levels of healing that we maybe couldn't necessarily have accessed just on our own journey. So as much as the individual journey is the key and we have to focus on healing ourselves to kind of ascend, that's the whole point, I do think that helping the collective ascend has also got a very valuable role in the overall ascension process and how fast that happens. So yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about as well is the importance of mind, body, soul healing and mind my perspective on why people get poorly, whether ill, whether that is mental illness, physical illness, disease, any form of disconnection from the physical vessel, ailments. So I have quite a few theories. Some are not my own, some are what I've gathered along the way. And one I really resonated with is there are only really three forms of why we get poorly, why we get ill. One is a big one, which is a lot of what I do the work with, which is emotional trauma. So emotional trauma that's stored within the body that is finding a way to expel itself out in the physical world. It's communicating with you in terms of letting you know that your physical vessel, wherever the ailment and the illness is bringing the pain or the discomfort, that is where there is usually emotional trauma to work through underneath the surface. So for example, if mine was in the solar plexus, and when that problem used to occur, I used to think it was simply on a physical level, not realizing how much anxiety I was carrying in my solar plexus, how much other people's energy I was taking on, not considering the amount of emotion I was storing there, the amount of tension and fight or flight, fear energy I was putting into that solar plexus sphere. So once I did the emotional trauma releasing in the solar plexus, a lot of the physical symptoms did remove. However, this is when it kind of coincides with mind, body, soul, and also the three different theories, because we can't just do one thing. We can't just do the emotional side to it. There has to be physical changes in the human world and your physical body and your daily life choices, and integrations of the consciousness. So knowing that you are actually changing your thought patterns, changing and breaking the cycles that were in place, reaffirming this illness and ailment and this identification with this problem and this pain. So again, so we've got the emotional trauma, which is stored within the body, creating the discomfort and the need to address the trauma underneath. We've got toxification, and this can also be parasites and things like that. So this can be any form of parasitical connection with the body. So if there is worms or tapeworms in the stomach or parasites within the body, that can really contribute to being ill and being in discomfort. There can also be toxification, so that could be poisoning, that could be environmental poisoning, that could be not good water that you're consuming, or artificial foods and flavorings and GMO'd fruit and vegetables. So there is a lot of different things there that can be coinciding with that. And also, obviously, I have to put a disclaimer out that I am not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not necessarily giving you any medical advice. I'm just talking about my own experiences and my own discoveries that I found through my own journey and giving a reflection of that. So please don't take my word as a medical professional, because I am not claiming to be one, because I am not one. Obviously, we just have to have that in there. Yeah, so we've also then got so we've got detoxification, emotional trauma, and then we have got deficiencies. So that can be things like magnesium, iron, potassium, B3, vitamin D, any form of deficiencies that can then lead to things like depression, digestion problems, gut problems, blood pressure. So again, there is this combination of factors that contribute to us being ill, being at discomfort, being in ailments. So if we can observe where we are experiencing that discomfort or the ailments, and we can pinpoint, okay, what emotional trauma, what is that area of my body representing? So with the back and the spine, it's usually that you're not supporting yourself. It's usually that you carry everybody else's emotional weight and you're not looking after yourself or prioritizing your own needs. With the throat, it's that usually obviously that you're not communicating, you're not expressing your needs, you're not communicating in the right way that's honoring the soul. So that could be not enough communication or too much aggression in the way you're communicating, not being vulnerable, not being open. If it's in the heart and the chest problems, again, that's usually wounds within the heart, grief, sorrow, pain, deep heart pain, like heartbreak that manifests in around the chest, the heart, and the lung area. Breathing, again, that can also be connected with the anxieties and fight or flight response. So then that's connected with the central nervous system, because the central nervous system is almost like a system of its own, disconnected to the body, which is its own programming, if you will. It has its own programming and responses. So we have to work on deprogramming the central nervous system as well as the mind, body, and soul. There is many layers to healing, as I mentioned at the beginning. Yeah. So in addition to that, we also then obviously have things like sacral trauma in the womb space, endometriosis, womb problems, cysts on the wombs, infertility. A lot of that is usually sexual trauma, abuse, not being able to be your true self, being suppressed from a young age. This can also coincide into past lives as well. Again, a deeper layer of healing. So there is many layers to healing and to how we heal. And I just wanted to bring this reminder, if you are someone that is experiencing a relapse of a same trauma you thought you dealt with, or a same ailment or same illness or same pain problem, it's really important to remember that you might just be hitting a deeper level. You might just be hitting a deeper layer of that problem and releasing deeper layers of connection to that body. So you might be releasing it from the central nervous system. You might be releasing it from the emotional body. You might be releasing the programming from the mind. If you are looking to speed up that process, I would definitely kind of make a little spider diagram or a bullet point list with the ailment at the top and kind of ask yourself, what does that area represent? What is it meaning to me? How am I emotionally, what is it emotionally representing? What is patterns and programs and thoughts and cycles in the mind contributing to this identification and to this being representing in my life at this moment? And what physical changes can you do? What herbs can you supplement with? What natural remedies can you use? What detoxification processes can you do? What kind of outdoor activities can you connect in with? Or, physical activities changing or diet changes, working on the mind, body, soul, and then removing that memory from the central nervous system, from the subconscious mind. Yeah, so kind of working on I was just listening, just working on destructuring down what that ailment represents to you and why it's been manifested in your life at this time, and looking at the mind, body, soul, looking at what is it? Is it toxification? Is it deficiency? Is it emotional trauma? Is it any of them? Or is it something, again, that's been brought up to release on an emotional level, on a spiritual level? Again, it could be past life or something like that. So if you have tried all of them things, maybe question into the past lives, parallel lifetimes, and ask the higher self or the oversoul to, we can then do things like removing contracts and cutting cords and removing ties from past lifetimes and past lifetime karma. So there's all things we can always do to work on it. It's just about, first of all, actually being able to address it and being able to consciously connect in with what is being represented to you, because everything is a message, especially through your own body. Your body is a vessel. So it's all a message from your higher self in terms of helping you ascend, helping you heal, helping you grow. So yeah, I hope that kind of makes some sense on that. So I'm just going to pause for a second. I will be back. So I wanted to add also that the universe places us exactly where we need to be, exactly at the right moment in time. So some things that we might look at as a burden, we feel left out, we feel jealousy, we feel emotional, we feel like, what have we not done? Why are we not being picked for this? Why have we not been seen as enough? These kind of reflections in these times when we have these moments, these are the real moments of growth. The analogy I like to use is, instead of walking up the stream, on the times where we do get taken under the water for a moment, that's our time to gather and reflect, to get all the skills, to get all the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience that we need to gain from that encounter, from that experience. And then to be able to stand up and carry that on with us and keep flowing down the river and down the stream. And there is going to be continuous times where we go under the water and where it feels overwhelming, where it feels like, it's not going to end, and that we're back in an old cycle, and that we've gone backwards, and that it's not working what we're doing. But in actual fact, it really is. It is just a deeper layer to what you're doing. And use that time to expand, to think, okay, so why, first of all, am I feeling these emotions? Why am I feeling jealousy? Why am I feeling left out? Why am I feeling not like I'm not connected to something, or like I'm not appreciated by other people? question that first of all and where that's coming from, because it's usually insecurities, self-doubt, self-worth, and then go into questioning why you've been given this time to reflect, why you've not been chosen, what the universe is bringing you. Maybe it's just allowing you to be open to other opportunities that are going to be presenting themselves. Maybe it's allowing you to be available and to be in a mental place that's ready for that next level expansion. Because how can you take the next opportunity when you're too busy wrapped up in the current thing that you're doing and you're not energetically or mentally available for that new opportunity, or even physically available too? So just know that wherever we are placed, whatever we're going through, whatever we look at sometimes as lack, and even the situations where it seems like a bad thing, where it seems like, we've been let down, we've been kind of either betrayed, or, people made us feel less than. They are the prime times for us to gain the experience of what this is all about. So for me, I learned the experience when I had two friends and was in like a 3 friendship group, which never really works out, ironically. Yeah, we was in a 3 friendship group, and they would like go to the gym and go for walks and stuff, and they'd do that without me, and I'd get really upset. I'd be like, why are you leaving me out? And I'd feel really sad about it. And it took quite a few times for this to happen, for me to realize that I was placing my self-worth and self-valuation in their hands, in their kind of approval, in their for them to give me their value rather than me to give my own value to self, and know that no one can dictate that to me if I know that in self. So that was a really big lesson I had to go through in, I think, 2021 or 2020, 2021, I think. And I also, you learn many lessons along the way. When you think, why wasn't I invited to that thing? Or a big one for me was when I met a certain person that I had kind of an admiration for. I don't really have much admiration for, that sounds bad, but what I mean is I don't have many idols or things like that. But I did have kind of a admiration for this woman, in terms of, I felt like she was doing what I was doing. She was, had the same vision. She was talking the same stuff. I really resonated with the stuff that she was bringing. And so, we got invited to do a similar thing, and I went down to an event and blah, blah, blah. And it just was so shocking to me, to the reception I received, the lack of connection, the lack of even basic friendliness and like human niceness and kindness. Um, and it was really upsetting. I was like, why, again, placing my self-worth in others, why does she not see that we do the same thing? It could have been a really nice kind of connection. At that time I was looking for my soul family too, and excuse me, it was obviously not something I found through that. But that was a fantastic time for me to learn that what I do and who I am is individual and unique to me, and I don't need to seek that validation through others, including other practitioners in this industry as well. So that was a big lesson for me to learn. There's so much in terms of how we how we expand and how we level up in our healing, and the basic thing is how we respond. I was talking to a friend earlier, and they struggle sometimes with the bigger lessons, because their main lesson is that they're experiencing right now is self-worth in multiple forms and multiple different methods coming through. And that they then repeated the analogy back to me, a different one, of it's like wearing a suit of armor, and you're going to get chinks in your armor, but it's about how you repair it so that you can keep moving forward and you can keep fighting on. And excuse me, I really enjoyed that analogy. So we're all reflecting, we're all growing, we're all expanding. And I do believe it is our job here to help each other and help each other grow and expand and help each other heal, hold space for each other, even just to communicate and give a different perspective, give a different opinion. It's so important for us to be taking ourselves out of the zoomed in perspective, out of the victim mode, out of the suffering, the cycles, the pain, and to be looking at how we can heal, how we can move forward. One thing I remembered lately is, okay, I don't want to feel like this again. I don't like these experiences. What did I do previously to get out of this situation? what have I seen other people do to get out of this experience or emotion, or to work through it, should I say, rather than to get out of it, because we don't want to avoid it. We just want to find a healthier way to move through it. So, yeah, it's kind of just about allowing ourselves to be easy on ourselves, but also know that this necessarily journey is not going to end. This healing journey, this conscious expansion, this awakening, into deeper levels of of thought and deeper thought patterns and deeper knowings, deeper wisdom, deeper abilities. This is not going to be something that just ends. So I suppose it's about finding a way to deal with it that has less of a detriment to you, less of a harm, less of an impact. The more we try and avoid it, the more we try and, avoid surrendering to it, that's the harder it becomes. So if we can kind of not resist, soften into the process, allow ourselves to feel sadness, jealousy, anger, emotions, allow ourselves to feel it so that we can process it and release it. That's the whole point. We're not meant to fight it and not feel it all. We're not meant to be a robot that's completely neutral and doesn't feel anything, in my personal opinion. I don't believe that that's the human experience. To live in neutrality, I don't believe that is what we've come here to do. I believe we've come here to balance and release and find us heart-centered activation. But I believe we're a little bit of love light and a bit of go fuck yourself. So I don't think we're going to lose what makes us human, what makes us a human being with emotions and communication techniques and different ways of expressing themselves. I don't think that's going to be something that just gets disappeared through awakening. It may change, but I don't think it's going to disappear. So yeah, to kind of summarize, I think we need to, when we're working with healing, zoom out on the issue that you're dealing with, reflect on the different layers that are coming through and what they mean to you. Work on the central nervous system, work on the mind, body, soul, work on the physical body if it needs detoxification or remineralization. Work on these different aspects, focus on multiple aspects of healing. Don't just focus on one. One size does not fit all, just like one pill does not treat everything all at once. So just remember that when you're trying to get one person, and also don't give your power away to other people. We are there to help each other. We are there as healers to help each other ascend, to teach each other techniques, to assist in releasing subconscious stuff and doing hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming. That is obviously what we're here to do, but we're all capable of doing our own healing too. So please don't give your power to someone else and believe that you're not capable of doing that same healing work. So hopefully that kind of gives you guys some kind of a breakdown on what it is we're all experiencing and a little bit of an assistance on how we kind of move forward in terms of our next level in the next part of our healing journey. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I know it might be a little bit of a shorter video, but I hope this makes sense. I hope you guys are feeling a connection from this. And if there is anything else you need, obviously, please do get in touch. I am available for some one-to-one sessions at Thursdays on the website. You can book in. So please do get in touch if you need anything. Look after yourselves, take care of yourselves, protect yourselves.